Karma. Most people understand the whole concept of karma, action, reaction. You reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. Pretty much any culture in the world and historically would appreciate the fact that that is a real principle. It is something that actually is plausible, and it does take place. But there is personal karma or individual karma, and there is collective karma. And that latter, collective karma, is something that a lot of people do not appreciate or understand. If you do something bad or negative, then the reaction for that action will be that something bad or negative similarly will come back to bite you, to take place in your life as a response to the energy that you put out through your first action. But this also takes place collectively. I saw where somebody said the other day, it was a priest actually, that somebody said, why are there such things as earthquakes and volcanoes and devastating fires and plagues, etc.? And he replied that that's just a natural part of Mother Earth and what Mother Earth goes through. Not exactly. In the Vedic understanding, the oldest books of knowledge on the planet are the Vedas, dating back measurably 6,000 BCE and back much, much further than that. We find that a collective karma is not Mother Earth going through her growing pains or stretching her bones. It's collective karma when it comes to negative repercussions, such as volcanoes, earthquakes, fires, wars, terror strikes, floods, famines, droughts, all of these things. Why? Because the people who are going through that, the collective, because usually it's a number of people, sometimes a small number, sometimes thousands, sometimes millions, that are going through it, experiencing these difficulties, are actually being in some way, they're receiving a negative reaction for what? Thoughts, words, deeds, well, deeds for sure. And it's not always easy to put your finger on, well, what may they have done that created this? There was an earthquake not so long ago in Nepal. If you've been to Nepal, Nepali people are absolutely wonderful people. I mean, it's hard to find sweeter people on the face of the earth. I've been to Nepal. And you'd think, well, what did they do? Well, I don't claim to know what they did whereby they experienced an earthquake. I know a lot of scientific people would simply argue with me and say, oh, well, you know, they live in an earthquake zone, in an earthquake belt. Yes, okay, I won't argue with that. But we have to look at it a little more deeply, not so much with the Nepalis, but, you know, in America, there's more and more terror that takes place. In Europe here, where I live, there's an increase in terror. I mean, if people are waging war, if countries are going to war and creating problems, then it's not unreasonable that that terror comes back. If they create terror, and you can say, well, these two things are not at all related. They may or may not be related. It doesn't matter. If a country produces a lot of weapons and a lot of weaponry and exports that weaponry, and people that we don't even know about buy or smuggle or use the weapons and kill off hundreds or thousands of other people, do you not think there's some karma involved with that? Do you not think it's reasonable that there may be a repercussion that goes with that? If we are not stewards of the earth, if we do not take care of Mother Earth in a responsible manner, and then there's a drought, and we don't have enough water, or we've been wasting the water in some way, or wasting energy in some way. And you can give me a whole list of ways in which that's being done. Then it's of no surprise that there may be a drought at some point in time. So there are many examples of this, which I'm not going to get into. But according to the ancient Vedic understanding, there is personal or individual karma, and there is collective karma. And sometimes it's pretty easy to figure out where that collective karma, a negative backlash came from, and other times it's not, but it's there. You've heard this expression, the sins of the father are visited upon the children, which is another way of saying collective karma may sometimes go down through the generations. So if a father owes something, owes a debt, sometimes that debt, for example, is visited upon his wife and or his children after his death, for example. Anyway, collective karma is a reality. It is our duty to look after everybody and everything, to be conscious stewards, to treat people well, according to the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Pretty good rule. Be compassionate, be loving, and look after everybody and everything in some reasonable way. Try to put out some good vibes and put out some good energy and some good actions into our world.